So Anglicare service offering to community is broad, and our workforce is very diverse. And what we find is that what attracts people to work in our children's services, for example, doesn't necessarily appeal to the people who want to work in our aged care services. So we've had to have a really good look at our employee benefits and talk to our top performing people and understand what attracts and what retains them. And then what we've tried to do is offer a range of benefits. So they're probably the same benefits as most organisations have, but we do try and provide a holistic range so that people can actually have choice and so that they can customise to what they need in life. I think Anglicare is fortunate because we, being a community service provider, we do offer work that's has quite an impact to the community, and so it's very meaningful work. But if COVID taught us anything, it's a bit of a looking into the future to see what our workforce shortage is going to be like for the next 5+ years, because we know in the aged care sector in particular, we're going to be short of about 17,000 carers annually, nationally. So, it really made us realise that our employee benefits has to be competitive to attract top calibre people. We've done a lot of benchmarking, a lot of research and that workforce analysis that I talked about. So that's definitely had a much stronger focus in the last 5 years. And the other thing that we've done is that we have refreshed our employee value proposition. We haven't quite launched that, so that's very exciting. We can't wait to do that. And that was very inspiring work. We engaged a consultant who actually worked with our workforce, obviously, to let us know why people are attracted and why they stay with Anglicare as opposed to a different community service provider or any other organisation. We do have a large number of sites that go all the way from Townsville to Roma to Gold Coast. We have Cecil Plains, we have Longreach. So it is really difficult communicating our employee benefits. So we have an onboarding platform, like so many organisations, that does help us. What we also do, which I think is really important, is we really work closely with our employee benefits partner to hold regular information and education sessions at the services. So RemServ, for example, will contact our services and find out where they're having team meetings, and they'll attend those team meetings and be able to talk to people face to face about what benefits are on offer and what really suits them individually. So we use technology and the webinars as well, but really that face-to-face contact is what our workforce really appreciates, particularly because a large segment of our workforce are out visiting clients and don't come into the branches, for weeks at a time. It's interesting because some of our workforce are very financially literate and others are not quite so. But we find those information and education sessions are really helpful to those people because it gives them an opportunity really to meet them where they're at and find out what it is that they're actually looking for. Our team is not necessarily more financially literate. Our employee benefit partners often really help us in that area. We're a small team because we're a not-for-profit. Yep. And so, for example, RemServ will they help with those conversations with those employees. Attracting the right staff and retaining them is so important to our service delivery because workforce turnover will have it has a very negative impact on customer experience. Our executive leadership team expect us to do the benchmarking, and this is where our employee benefits providers really help us. So RemServ, for example, will provide us with benchmarks around, median salary packaging usage in organisations that have similar fringe benefit tax status. They'll help us with salary packaging for similar FTE workforce size and similar organisations. And then they'll also work with us to look at benchmarking for organisations who are doing better than we are doing with salary packaging usage so that we can create those stretch targets, but that we know that they're achievable. And I think that's given us a lot more credibility with our executive leadership team. And it's also definitely led to us being able to build our influence. So when we step into that room, we feel comfortable and we're definitely ready for the conversation. We're trying to encourage staff to be sustainable in their everyday lives. We don't have single-use plastics anymore in the organisation, and we also definitely, in terms of the employee benefits, like you are asking, Tony, we're looking at the electric vehicles for our employees. So it's a brilliant benefit that's offered, through the ATO, through RemServe. So our employees, like I said before, spend a great deal of time on the road, and they're actually required to have their own vehicles. So it's a perfect solution to that challenge, and we're definitely doing a lot of marketing around those electric vehicles. What's important is, with the employee benefits partners, having that shared vision, similar values, shared goals. And so, we work really, really hand in hand. They are an extension of our team, as I've said before. And so, for example, when we attended a recent career expo, because we do attend a number of them throughout the year, RemServe came along with us and they helped us. They were an extension of our team. They were able to talk to people directly, new potential recruits, and really explain what's on offer, because salary packaging can be a little tricky to explain to people who haven't had the full PBR status before. So that's really helpful. We rely on our employee benefit partners for their expertise and the value that they add. So we don't just expect them to help us with delivering on our strategic objectives. We actually ask for their input in helping us develop what those strategies are around our employee benefits. They've got so much knowledge, so leveraging that knowledge has been really beneficial for us. And then I think where we have long-term stability with our employee benefits, I think we've seen a heap of success with that, so that's been good. I think our employee benefits partners that we work with, we tend to have, it's not just a one-person relationship. We don't just have an account manager. We tend to work with a couple of people in their organisations, and so people that support payroll, people that help myself and the CPO with our strategy, and then people who help, with those information and education sessions and coordinating that on the ground. And I think that really it's a true partnership in that case, and you start to become involved in each other's, for the benefit of each other's organisation, because at the end of the day, you're both trying to serve the same purpose. You're trying to offer the best benefit for your employees and designed around your employees, your workforce. The other thing is an employee benefits partner that's constantly striving and changing, and not just, status quo just remains as it is. So when I think about the partnership with RemServe for 20 years, things have changed so much in that time. They really have never stayed the same. And then, of course, the benchmarking data is so important. It's not something that we can easily access by ourselves. And so that's really, really helpful, that benchmarking data, knowing that we're actually positioning our employee benefits where we should be.